everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are going to talk about all the pros and cons to hiring a real estate virtual assistant. So entrepreneurs and business owners that are looking to grow their business at a much faster pace may want to include the possibility of adding a virtual assistant onto their team as part of their growth strategy. By delegating tasks, such as administrative tasks, specialized duties, a lot of those tasks that are more, lower dollar value that take up a bunch of time, they could be delegated out to a VA, leaving you more time to focus on the most important part of your business, and that is the income generating activities. So, some of the benefits of hiring a real estate virtual assistant are one, the affordability, the flexibility, as well as having an access to a large hiring pool. However, with any business decision, you should always consider the pros and the cons to it. And that's what this video is geared to do, to help you understand what the benefits and the potential risks are of hiring a virtual assistant. So to begin, we'll jump in right to the pros. And one is saving money. When you're hiring a real estate VA, you're hiring them for a fraction of the cost it would cost to hire an in-house employee. So with that, you get the advantages of, one, they're remote, so you don't have to have the office expenses, the internet, the electric, all those things associated with having an in-house team. On top of that, you also get the average VA typically starts around $3 an hour. So you could have a full-time person on your staff taking a lot of tasks off your plate for as low as $3 an hour. The other benefit is the tax. Since they are not a US-based employee, the business owner saves the additional taxes you pay, the payroll taxes, the unemployment tax, all those things that could really increase your expenses on top of what the salary is. Those you don't have with the virtual assistant. So you still get the benefit of, having the write-off of, the expense that it costs to have your VA, but you don't have those additional tax implications. So one of the huge pros is obviously saving money. Pro number two that we're going to be discussing in this is the flexibility. So obviously if you hire a virtual assistant, they are going to be remote employees. With them being remote, their schedule is extremely flexible. They will obviously work to the business hours that you want them to, but another one of the benefits is, you don't have employees who have to worry about commutes into work. There's no long commutes, no risk of, of them hitting traffic, being late to work, having other things that conflict with that schedule of having to come into an office. So that flexibility is huge, and that typically makes for happier employees. Just look at the way everything's gone in this country, especially since the pandemic. A lot of these companies are realizing that their company morale could go up by having them work remotely because they are in their house, which again means less time for that employee to commit to work because you're losing that commute time. So if you're working 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., you are in your house, you start working at 9, by 6 p.m. you log off and you're ready to start your day and spend time with that family. So really a huge part of working with a VA is that flexibility of being able to really kind of have them work a schedule that you want and that works for them, which again saves the overall time constraint with the employees. So they're just going to work their scheduled time. So the next pro that we're going to be discussing is just having a better work-life balance. Entrepreneurs tend to really kind of dive into work and kind of have that kind of mindset they have to be the ones working 80 hours a week in order to be able to grow their business. And that's just not necessarily true. If you know how to leverage and how to delegate tasks, you're able to drastically reduce that. I know I've been there, that person who's missing family events, missing kids' sporting events, things like that because of that fear of giving up control of certain parts of the business. However, once you're able to successfully implant a VA into your business, by them being able to take a lot of those routine tasks off your plate that takes up a lot of time during the day, it is going to free up your time during the actual business hours to handle all your client phone calls, your appointments, your emails. A lot of those things can be handled during the day as opposed to handling a lot of those other lesser value tasks during the day, leaving only the evening for your phone calls and things like that, your client communications. And you can focus on them during the day. It's always going to free up those evenings, which is going to change your life. It did for us in our business when we started using VAs, just how we saw that we were able to, take a vacation and not worry about our business falling apart while we're gone and not worrying about being on vacation and spending the entire time on the phone. And a lot of that was because of the VA. They helped us and many other clients that we've worked with really enhance that work-life balance, because as an entrepreneur, it's great, you're going to keep building, but eventually there's going to be that burnout point, and a VA could really help reduce all that. So if you are one of those business owners that is, constantly working, feel like you never get a break, a VA can be the perfect solution for you. Another pro that we always see as a result of placing a VA into your business is reducing stress. As I said in the last pro with the work-life balance, if you're able to better manage your schedule by focusing on the important income generating activities during the day, then your evenings are going to be, a lot less stress. Just really when you lay down at night, you're actually going to be able to be comfortable and not have your mind racing a million miles an hour thinking about all the things that you have to do the following day or the things that you didn't get done today, because you are going to have someone on your team handling a lot of those things during the day for you. So now at the end of the night, when you're ready to relax, you can kind of look at your day and realize that you got a lot of income generating activities done. You met with new clients, you got houses under contract, you're doing those things during the day. Meanwhile, your VA is handling a lot of that back end stuff. So at night, you don't have to worry about, am I gonna miss this deadline? Did I schedule this home inspection? Did I order title on this? Because a lot of that can be handled on the back end by your VA. So those other tasks that tend to take up a lot of your brain space, especially at night, are going to be gone, and they're going to be handled by another member of your team, giving you that ability to really actually wind down and enjoy the evenings. And then the final pro I want to talk about is the increased productivity. What's going to happen when you bring a VA onto your team is that you're going to see your business grow. You're going to see the revenue grow, because now your productivity is going to increase. As the business owner, as the one who's out there really trying to grow, you're going to be able to focus on all those tasks during the day. So instead of worrying about those smaller administrative tasks, you're going to be able to focus a big chunk of your time just on those important income generating activities that's really going to move your business forward. I always try to tell people, when I'm talking to clients, whether it's clients of Leverage Virtual, it's coaching clients, anyone that I'm talking to, I always say that you should be spending 80% of your time on income generating activity. If you are the business owner, that is what you should be doing. If you're not spending 80% of your time on income generating activities, your business isn't going to scale to the level you want it to, because you just don't have the time in your day to do it all. And so if you're not, if you catch yourself, if you're going through your task list during the day and you see that you're spending a lot of time on tasks that are not income producing activities, reach out, because it could be a perfect time for you to bring a VA on to really help scale that back in terms of the hours spent on lower value tasks, to where you could really focus on the things that are going to drive your business forward. So that is going to help a lot. You could even bring VAs in to help manage your database. If you have a large database of people and you can't manage to call them all, because obviously we know that the money's in the follow-up. You need to be following up with past clients, older leads, people that have been in your database for a while. They're all people that may still need to buy or sell homes. But if you don't have the capacity to sit there and call them all yourself, at least once a month to keep touching them, you could trust having a VA do that for you, and where they could be the one going in and doing those long-term touch points, those long-term nurtures and things like that. So you could focus again your time on the stuff that's going to bring that money into your business now, while you have a VA on the back end who's going to help keep engaging the older leads in your database to make sure when they are actually ready to buy or sell, that they're going to think of you. So that increased productivity is obviously massive. All right, so now we're going to get into the cons of hiring a VA. Some of the common things that, the questions we get, stuff that we come across when people are considering a virtual assistant. First is the lack of physical presence. Obviously, our VAs, personally, they are in the Philippines, so they are halfway around the world. So a lot of people think it could be tough establishing that, open line of communication with the VA, which is obviously a concern, because if they're an in-house employee, obviously you're going to see them, they're going to be in your office. You'll see them on a regular basis. However, with technology and with tools like Skype and Zoom, Google Meets, all these tools really kind of help eliminate that potential issue. So I highly recommend, when you are bringing a VA on, to really open that line of communication early on. That lack of that physical presence isn't an issue, because if you are consistently, meeting with your VA, whether it's on Zoom or you're at least communicating through Slack, one of those, it's really going to help build that relationship between you and the VA. So the lack of physical presence really at the end of the day isn't that much of an issue, just because of the way technology has gone now. If someone has that concern in the beginning, once they hire the VA and they follow the systems and use the tools that we recommend, they realize that it was absolutely just the most of minor concerns. The other one is establishing trust. A lot of people, as they're not in office, they're halfway around the world. How do I really establish trust with that VA? Well, one of the ways to do it again is through those communication tools. You're going to want to build that relationship, so use Slack, things like that, to really kind of have an open line of communication with your VA, so they know and they're comfortable coming to you with any questions, or if they have ideas. It's just going to really enhance that. We provide a lot of tools to help in terms of you being able to monitor the VA. If they're in your office, you're able to see what they're doing every day. But since they're obviously remote, you don't know if they're actually working the full time in the hours they're supposed to be working. Now, we do offer a lot of tools and services that are going to help counteract that. So you will be able to see what they're doing on a regular basis, which will help you establish a trust in your VA, because you're going to be able to see that they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. So establishing that trust, again, because of technology and the way the systems and tools that are available, it's another con that really, at the end of the day, as long as you kind of put your time in the beginning to establish that trust and build that relationship, it's really going to be a non-issue. And before you know it, you will have one of the most dedicated and loyal employees that you ever could have imagined. So again, establishing trust, as long as you build that relationship, it's really not an issue at all. All right, then the last con that we are going to discuss is the language barrier. Obviously, that's a big one, that a question that we get asked all the time. Is there going to be a language issue? You know, a lot of people that go out and hire VAs, they don't really think of that in the beginning, and you know, they just assume, you know, they're going to get a VA, you know, from overseas, and all of a sudden communication does become an issue because there is a language barrier. You know, with Leverage Virtual, the way, you know, we hire all of our VAs in the Philippines. One of the main reasons is the Philippines, you know, they are proficient in English. It is one of their primary languages, so they are very familiar with the language. You know, so a lot of times that language barrier isn't going to be that much of an issue. You could find VAs with, you know, very minor accents as well, if any. But another thing that can cause a language barrier is obviously, you know, there's a difference in cultures between, you know, the US and Philippines. Obviously the culture is going to be different. They are seen in another country around the world. So the best way to really kind of counterbalance that, it goes back to the communication, where you start to learn about their culture and who they are as a people and how they like to work. You know, as you start to kind of build that, then that kind of goes away. So the easiest way to kind of prevent any potential language barrier is, again, the open line of communication, but really be clear and concise with your tasks and your instructions. So it's nice and easy for the VA to, but again, as you get familiar and you build that relationship, you know, your VA is going to understand how you like things to be done. You're going to understand how the VA likes to get their work done. And then it's really going to get really easy to kind of send tasks back and forth, to communicate. You're going to see that, you know, any kind of potential barrier issues eventually just completely go away once you start getting more and more familiar with each other and working with each other on a regular basis. So again, it's another common one we come across, but you know, once you get working with the VA, you follow the systems and the processes that we recommend, you'll see that the language barrier really is not going to be an issue at all for you. So again, you know, that is everything. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you have, definitely, you know, reach out, you know, like, subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or you want to see any videos done on specific topics, definitely, you know, throw them in the comments, and you know, we'll respond to you, and you know, probably get a video on a certain topic as well. So I hope you guys come back, watch some more, and I appreciate you following our channel.